Okay, so welcome to part 3 of this week learning module. Okay, now that you have VS Code installed, let's get right into creating your first simple application. The first thing you will do is to go on your desktop and create a simple folder. Create a simple folder, let's call it TSA Looter. Let's call it TSA Looter Projects. So TSA Looter Project. Okay, here is my folder. I call it CSA Looter class. Let's call it TSA Looter class. Okay. All right. So you create a folder like this on your desktop, right? And then you come back to your VS Code. You ensure that your VS Code is opened, right? And then you just drag. You see, I'm clicking. Look at to the right side. You click, hold, and drag your VS Code, your project file straight into your VS Code. You click, hold, and drag your project file straight into your VS Code. That is probably the easiest way to start your projects, no matter what type of project. Even major projects, we developers still start like this. Now, there are other ways. You can start by creating a Git repo and then calling that repo or cloning that repo, if you like, straight into your VS Code locally. But you don't necessarily have to do that. Just for the purpose of this class, just open on your desktop like this, and then drag into your VS Code. And what you will notice is that on the left top corner of your VS Code, you will see the project file right here to the top left corner. So, and if you open it, which is currently opened, let me close this, which is currently opened, you will see that there is not a single file on it. Okay. So now, if you take a closer look at this side, you'll see new file, new folder. You don't want to do new folder. You want to start with a new file. And then you're going to start by calling it index.html. Now, why are we calling it index? Index is the entry point of any application. Remember, I showed you an application yesterday in the previous class where I mentioned that AI generated a React app for us. Okay, let me show you that project again. Okay, so this is the project I was referencing on Lovable. In our previous class, we generated this project live from the class using AI. And then, but this is the interesting part. This was built using React Native, React, and that is why we have this file structure. And then we have reusable components, this particular usable component. In fact, if we are doing this and it's not AI that is building it, we could have restructured this in a different way. But for the purpose of this class, we'll just move forward with it. But the fact that this is an app generated by an AI, you will still see that there is a file called index.html. So because index.html, index is the entry point of any application. It is the entry point of any application. All right, so let's go back to our VS Code for our own projects. Now, before you start using your VS Code, you should start by, these are the things you must do. After setting up your VS Code, you want to go to extension and find some beautiful extensions to make your work easy. Okay, the first one that I will recommend is the one called Emets. The one called Emets. So if you, the very first result is the actual image. So the one by Mithril, right? There are many of them, but I would just advise you install the very first results. I'll take that again for the purpose of learning. When you download your VS Code before you start a project, because I'm going to be using this a lot. So before you start your project, you should install this extension called image. Okay, you should install this extension called image. There are so many extensions on my own VS Code, but just pay attention to this. This is image. Image is the one I want you to install. You can install other extensions, probably extensions like material icon. I have material icon, that's number 2, material icon. Yes, you can, material icon allow, yeah, you can see I have it installed already. So material icon gives beautiful icon to your projects, okay? These are just aesthetics for your coding, okay? Right, so material icon is another number 2. Number 3 will be, I'm telling you, just basic tools, just basic extension you need to install on your VS Code to make your work easy. Number 3 is another called Prettier. Prettier, okay? Yes, yes, this is Prettier. Now, Prettier is probably one of the most used extension on VS Code. So what does it do? It's just a formatter. It does not have anything, just format. Instead of having ugly arrangement like this, it just reformats it properly. So prettier is just to make your code look pretty and organized. It does not affect your work. It does not affect what you are building. It's just to, all these extensions are to make your work easier. By the time we get to React, you'll see we start installing React extension and many more like that. So please note that these extensions are just to make your work easier. Now we are here. We have our first code file, which is index.html. Now I want you to also reference something very quickly. I want you to go to W3 School, because I can never exhaust this material on this course. I can never exhaust it. So I want you to start with HTML here. I mentioned that in the previous lesson. And I want you to start by clicking on Learn HTML, because this is what I'm going to be using to guide you. Right. And I will tell you why I'm using this. I've been doing this class for a long time. And I believe that students, when they have reference material, just like in your university where your lecturer gives you a note, when they have reference material, they learn faster. So I'm going to stick to this reference material so that you can learn faster. You can also visit on your own so that you'll not be limited to only the few things I mentioned in the class. You can visit on your own and learn more stuff. So you can visit on your own and learn more stuff. So how does HTML works? Now let's start with writing HTML code. For you to start writing HTML code, there's a principle of accounting that apply the software development that apply in writing HTML called for every open tag there must be a corresponding closing tag. What does that mean? Before you start writing anything, you need to tell your browser what you are writing. If you're writing a PHP, you start by telling your browser that this is PHP. Okay, you tell your browser this is PHP, right? Okay, you tell the browser this is PHP. Of course, it will show an error because this will not fly inside HTML file. But for HTML, just tell your browser that this is HTML. HTML. Okay, all right, and then you close it. It will be nice if you close it. So HTML, yes, okay, it's automatically closed it for me. Right, so what has happened here? I have written, what happened here is that I had opened a tag, okay, I'd open a tag and I have closed the tag. So in HTML, this is the way a tag is open and closed. Okay. Let me show you from here. All right. So in HTML, this thing is called a tag. Let me show. This is a tag. This is how a tag is written. Right. So most tag, and this is how a tag is closed. I want you to pay attention to this. So this is open tag, and this is close tag. Who can tell me the difference? So the difference here is that there is a forward slash. There is a forward slash before the tag name. Okay, there is a forward slash before the tag name when it is closing. Okay, yeah, sorry, there is a forward slash before the tag name. Yeah, this is it. There is a forward slash before the tag name when it is closing, and the same applies when you are writing your HTML. Okay, so anything we open and close in HTML is a tag. Now, there are few open tags in HTML, but most tag, in fact, maybe 95% of the tag have a closing open tag and a closing tag. Now, the tags that are not, a few tags that are not necessarily closed are called tags that are self-closing. So let me give you an example. So if I write this tag, if I say something like a B is for making a text bold, and I close it right in itself. I close it right in itself. But you can see that this thing is already showing error because I didn't also follow another fundamental principle of coding, which is of HTML rather, is to give it a body. Okay, it gives it a body. I told you HTML has two parts. HTML has two parts. Okay, to even make it better, let me just show you this. Every HTML has two parts. The first part is the head, and the second part is the body. Okay, now in the head, there are elements that are not necessarily open to the public. Only a few of them, like the title like this, okay, is open to the public. Yes, there's another extension I forgot to mention. The extension is called Live Server. That's number 4. I know I want to show you 5 extension. Live Server. This is very important for you. Please also install Live Server extension. Okay. Now let's get back to the class. Now, again, I said every HTML has two parts. It has the head, okay, and it has the body. Don't forget this. Right. So if I come back to the VS Code, I did something that smart ones among you could have noticed. I used a shortcut, and I will teach you this because this is 2026. I used a shortcut to bring up something called boilerplates. So what we call boilerplate in code, in programming or writing any code, any language, is the basic structural element that is required for that language. So the boilerplate for HTML is these basic informations: declaration of type documents, which is HTML, then HTML itself, the HTML tag itself, the head, the body. Okay, and that's what I would do. And this is how I would do it when I'm starting my project. I want you to if you're using Windows, you put Shift 1, that's Shift factorial. Now, you will notice something you will notice something immediately. You will notice something immediately. It said image abbreviation. Now remember that we installed our image, we installed image extension. So if you can see it here, you see image abbreviation. If you click on this image abbreviation, just hit enter. Again, I'll see how I did that. Okay, so I did shift 1 on Windows. Just all you want to do is get this mark, this factorial mark to display. And then if I hit enter, it gives me the boilerplate automatically. It gives me the boilerplate for HTML automatically. Now, if I come back to my file and right click and say open live server. Opening live server means that I want to be seeing everything I'm doing live on the browser. Okay, the open live server just simulates a regular browser, and you will see that it's on port 5500. Your own could be port 2500. So, but whichever way, it opens exactly what you're working on. We have not added anything on our code, but you will notice something here. I want to close this. I want to close all this so that you can see this information properly. Okay. Now, you will notice that the title of our project, of our web page, is documents, and that is from this title. So let's call it TSA. Let's change it to TSA Looter class. Okay, let's change it to TSA Looter class. Okay, TSA, and I save it. If I go back to the live server, I can see that it has changed. Now let's go back to the HTML itself. If I come into the body, whatever I want users to see must be into the body. The only thing users see that is not inside the body are few elements like title, fav icon, fav icon is a link. Okay, and then I choose fav icon. That's fav icon is, let me show you what fav icon is. So fav icon is this icon that you will see here, like this lovable logo, this W3 school logo, etc. Now you will notice something different. These have like an image to show. We'll get to that in a bit. Okay, but there is nothing in the body. Okay, right. So we don't have a fav icon yet. So let's just stick to that for a minute. Now in the body, I want to just say my name is Kola, or let's just say hello world. Let's say hello world. Hello world. I mean, I don't know why hello world. So if I say hello world, plain text like that, it displays on the web page. But in 2025, I don't want to do this anymore. But it's important that I learn the nitty-gritty like this. So for further references, now you can now begin to see basic elements like H1. H1 is header 1. H2 is header 2. You can go to things like elements. This explains the elements. Headings. This is H1. Yeah, I was explaining that just a minute ago. H1 to 6. That gives you like heading. Let's use one of them so you can see it. So if instead of putting this text plainly, I can just say H1. I can just say H1. Okay. I can just say H1. I can say my name is Olawole. Okay, and I save this. And then if I come back here, it's showing my name is Kolawole. Now it's bigger because I'm using header 1, H1. I can change this to H2 or H3. Let's choose H3 for instance. It will be a little bit smaller. So let's choose H3. Can you see it's a bit smaller now? Okay, now let's put some paragraph to it. Now, I will call a P. So let's call a P and put a text. I'm a student at Luther. You see what is happening? What you don't know is that I have AI installed on my VS Code, and because I've titled this project Luther CSA, I just made so it just automatically filled it for me. This is 2026. You must take advantage of AI. This is 2026. At the time of recording this video, this is 2026. Take advantage of AI. And that's where we'll go next. I just wanted to introduce you to some of these elements so that you're familiar with it. Okay? So don't forget that I mentioned that these are a few things in the head and many other things come in the body. Right. Let me introduce you to something else. To organize your folder, you want to start having images. So create another folder. Click on this button right here. You will say new folder and call it images. Right. Inside your images, you want to find an image for your fav icon. So let's find an image for our. So the easiest way to do that is to find your image, the image you want to use, then copy and paste it into your project folder images. You can see I created it from VS Code, but it's available on my desktop. It's showing this PC desktop, CSA Luther class, and images. And then I have this image, this particular picture I want to use as my fav icon. And how do I do that? I just come here and you can see it shows reference, but it's showing where is this fav icon. The word href simply means hypertext markup language. So href is hyperreference. Href is hyperreference. All right, so where is this image? Where is this fav icon image? So it's in images, and this is it. And I named it. Right. If I come here, you can see that the logo has changed now. It's showing the image, this image. It's showing this image as our fav icon. Okay, this is how all of these things work. Okay, what else am I missing out? Let's go to W3 School. I will just explain it as a concept. I don't want this video to be more than 30 minutes so that you will not get bored. Let's go back to W3 School. So that is most of the things in the header. Then paragraph, working with paragraph, comments. Yes, let's talk about comments in HTML. How do you comment your project? Because it's important that you write comments. This is how to write clean code. Even when AI writes for you, you need to comment some stuff. So let's write our first comment. So I want to, and don't forget, in HTML, white spaces does not matter. So this is how to write my comment. Right. So yeah, this is comments in HTML. It will not display on the website. So how do you do that? You start by forward slash and star, and then we start with forward slash. All right. In the next video, we are going to be talking about AI. We're going to be talking about AI because this is AI first. Because this is 2026, so nobody is writing extremely long code. But as we do, so they're prompt to code with AI. So we'll prompt to code, and then I will explain the code. Because don't forget, I said if you can't read it, that means you don't own it. So we're going to be writing. We allow HTML. We allow AI to write HTML for us, and then I will explain it as we go. All right, see you in the next class.